The idea of voluntarism and self-responsibility, family, friends, and churches to solve problems, rather than saying some monolithic government is going to make you take care of yourself and be a better person. It's a preposterous notion. It never worked. It never will. The government can't make you a better person. It can't make you follow good habits. Why don't they put you on a diet? You're a little overweight, and I think you'd be in better health. You're a little drugged out.
Things are going to start happening to me now.
I think Tyler is amazing.
And I'm a fan of this show. I've watched several episodes.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Tyler. You stink, Tyler.
Never promise crazy a baby.
Oh, I like that. That's a cool idea.
Are either of you homosexuals?
I go both ways. What do you think?
You mean like flaming or?
No, we're not homosexual, but we are willing to learn.
But I do wonder, for others, in other cases, whether libertarianism today is just an excuse for many on the right to act selfishly.
Look at me. And then some fat asses in Washington started having opinions. The Olympic Committee started having opinions. You bitch, I know you. You started writing your opinions.
And it just makes me wonder, you're dead, bitch. You know, why are you doing this to this poor guy?
I don't care. I'm a libertarian. What I'm getting is,
did you vote for Joe Jorgensen or Trump?
Who?
Joe Jorgensen. That was the perfect answer. Thank you.
Hola, everybody. This is Tyler Yonke, LPR. I think we've got like one person in the chat. And welcome to Eddie Grimm, co-host for the night. It could be. Let me just catch you up. Episode 203. This is Tyler Yonke. If you don't know about me, well, you're about going to. Not too much. I'm drinking water tonight. Maybe something else. Someone literally smile and be happy is here. Danielle's here. Danielle, sorry, is here. Welcome, everybody. I hope you can hear me fine. If you can't, I'm just going to give a little time for people to settle in. Last week, my cheeks were red. I work out, and then I've also had a little bit of an issue with, I don't know. Something's going on with my body. I'm getting old, people. And so I was drinking a beer, and I said, hey, when I do, and this doctor's in here saying, hey, rosacea. Maybe that's what we have. I don't know. Then someone made a comment. It's about like, hey, yeah, sure, you're not an alcoholic. And I'm like, I don't hardly, I mean, I drink sometimes when we have streams, you know, like a single alcoholic beverage, but I don't do hard. I don't do much. I'm just not in a spot right now where, I don't know. And you know what? Then it's like Nick Rekieta, when he was talking about like, I'm just losing the weight because I'm getting fit. And I'm like, okay. I get it. I get everybody. The excuses, you make the excuses. And then let's do can we do a full, oops, not that one. There we go to the chat. Dan, Casey's here. We settled, get into it. Okay. Maybe you should be in the saddle instead of drinking beers, counselor. Yes, I should be. Why didn't we see you open that seltzer can? Because I had started earlier. I had a little bit of I am in California. My cocaine is medical. Yeah, that's no kidding. So I thought, here's what we'll do tonight. Let me go over, everything's running. I'm up on Twitter. I'm losing a few frames on here. I'm getting a new computer. My computer's pretty new, but I'm going to upgrade, hopefully, to have excellent stuff going. But I thought here's where we would walk through. We're going to do a quick update on Nick Rekieta. Not much legal stuff, and I'm not going to get into all the drama necessarily, but I'll just say a few things about it. What I think maybe is going on there as far as from a legal perspective. A quick update on Nick Fuentes. I have the video. Remember, we talked about that last time, and I was like, hey, was it assault? Was it battery? Was it aggravated assault or battery, which is doing it with a deadly weapon? Can a pepper sprayer be a deadly weapon? I don't know. Not the way he used it. It's just going to mildly annoy you. A car can be a deadly weapon depending on how you use it. So anyway, we'll talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about Alex Jones because Alex Jones' business was auctioned off to The Onion, or was it? Evidently not, because we got some updates on that. And look, I've had problems. It looks like now he has good attorneys because his attorneys seem to be doing the right stuff. I don't know if Barnes was involved on the previous issue that he had in the two cases in Texas and then in the Northeast, Sandy Hook. the defamation, but he did get a default judgment. Now, I've mentioned this to you before. A default judgment is when the other party doesn't participate, but you can get it. I mean, I found it here just the other day in California, as sanctions for discovery, where you're just refusing to comply with discovery. They'll say, fine. Casting some shades on Barnes. Always casting shades on Barnes. Auctioned may not be the right word. No, it literally is the right word for a trustee sale when they're trying to do that through bankruptcy. Anyway, so you can get a default judgment through not obeying discovery, and that's what happened with what's his name? Alex Jones. Now, I have a few cases where discovery tries to get out of control. The usually people that aren't represented by counsel, and just constantly badgering you with discovery, and you keep answering, hey, we literally, you're going down a fishing expedition, down a rabbit hole. We don't actually have these documents. We can't produce them. Plus, what you're asking for, you're already subpoenaing. And so, I don't know what you want. Now, that is what apparently Alex was saying, which was, we don't actually have what you're asking for, but there was problems with actually producing the evidence, so they got a default judgment. Now, I don't know. Do you think that if it was so badly done, as Barnes has gone on to many, many shows saying how poor this was, it was a runaway judge in 2 different districts, could be, that you would appeal, and maybe on appeal you would get these overturned, but evidently not. So I don't know if he talked to an appeals, appeal judge, and they said, I'm sorry, an appellate attorney, and they're like, yeah, you don't have a chance. You screwed up. Or maybe that's the case. I don't know. Either way, it's his company's in bankruptcy, and in bankruptcy, they tried to get the best for their the parties, those that need to be the creditors, first in line, second in line, secured creditors, non-secured creditors, what have you, and they try to get the best, and they basically liquidate everything. Now, there's some exceptions to this, some things that aren't discharged in bankruptcy court, family law proceedings, as an example. You don't get to discharge your a debt you may owe for family, child support, spousal support, whatnot. But there are some things that your residence, you have a homestead exemption, that the main house that you have that you can keep, or at least not go through the auction system. So I don't do bankruptcy, but I'm just saying there's I deal enough with it tangentially in some cases, as you can imagine, that I know a little bit about it. Now, what they do is they appoint, and I did take it in law school, but that's law school. They do appoint a trustee, and this trustee is separate from the parties involved. It is separate from the judge. It's usually appointed by the judge, and they have all kinds of, they're the trustee, and they get in line. They have multiple cases that they'll do, and they're supposed to be like a neutral party to get the best for the creditors. Okay. So the creditors and their claims. So with that in mind, they do auction sales, actually, of businesses, of property. It happens all the time, Dwayne. Okay. So did Alex have to put $1 billion to appeal? I don't know if there was any kind of, I don't think so. Now his I guess it got reduced from $1 trillion down to $1 billion, but yeah, it was still a ridiculous sum. And does that go against the Eighth Amendment, which is not just a cruel and unusual punishment, but also excessive fines? Maybe. But definitely when it gets into what I would say is his First Amendment rights, defamation is kind of against that. So I don't know. Either way, the company is being auctioned off, and there's procedures to have these auctions done. And it came out yesterday that through this auction, The Onion purchased it. There you go. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to play some video. And then I also want to play some stuff that's going on with appointments, the freaking out, how people are reacting to some of this. We have a little bit of a info on that as well. And I thought I'd play a clip. I found a fascinating clip this morning. I was watching it live. And then when I was coming home, I was just searching for it. And it's one that Glenn Beck put up. He's talking about the federal government and RFK Jr. coming in as his role with HHS and how that's going to play out. And it's kind of some fascinating things where they get owned. Okay. The Mark Gatto says, what But the Onion told me it's true. Well, okay. There is some irony in all of this. There's some irony going around the fact that it's
Hi.
Onion.
Oh my God! What are you doing?
Get the fuck out of here.
Okay, if you don't know, that's Nick Fuentes. I didn't mean to play this clip right away, but heck, we're already here. Let's
Hi.
Oops,
Oh
sorry.
my God! What are you doing?
So we had talked about this before, and then we'll get to some of your comments here. So do you have assault? Do you have battery? Do you just, people are like, look, you can't just go up to someone's house and dox them. Okay, I get it. But he didn't know that this person was necessarily going to dox him, but he happened to be right. He being Nick Fuentes. So this loser goes up there. And no, I don't think it's Nick or his mom. I'm not a fan of Nick Fuentes. I know people come in, the video got pretty good views last time because it was Nick Fuentes, and some people get riled up by that. I don't care about, I'm not going to be led by a gay incel. Now, how do you say, hey, how do you know he's incel and gay? Come on. This boy is not leading anybody. He may have great ideas. He may not. I'm not a fan of his. This is what it is as well. Seyfuddin Amus, I've talked about him before, the Bitcoin standard guy. Had a bit of a back and forth with him. He's not my guy. I don't like him personally. There's other people I could get the same info from. Okay. So I'm not tied to him personally. I've just decided I'm not a fan. I think he's lazy in his research, and he's misstates things a lot. So I'm just not going to use him as the person that I go to for that issue. There's plenty of other smart people out there who are not going to lie to me, quote unquotes. Maybe just to be lazy in their research. I should probably really shore that up, or he's going to come after me with a defamation claim. That's what he said one time, and I'm like, first of all, no, you're not, and second of all, you've admitted in your DMs that you were wrong. Okay. If you want, go to my Substack, apply there, and go back a few years, and you'll see a whole article I wrote about it. Okay, the point I'm getting at is, if you like what Nick says, fine. Maybe just find someone else. Find someone else to lead you. That's all I'm saying. Okay. However, it doesn't mean that he needs to be doxxed. I'm not a fan of that, and it doesn't mean that you just then this stupid bitch here just goes up to his door and does what she's doing. But he can't do this. I don't even know if she'd rung the door. I love this where he's peeking out around the edges here. It's like he's watching his boyfriend getting cucked somewhere, and he's just hiding. But he immediately, before anything happens, he didn't even say, hey, I'm here with your package. You want to vote for Kamala? I think he did. Anything like that. It's not a pollster. It's not someone taking the census. It's just this lady, and he maces her right away. Right away. Doesn't give her. We talked about duty to retreat and all this. I just think it's assault and battery. I just think it's plain and simple assault and battery. But I also think, oh, hey, he did that to her phone. He may have a charge there as well. I think she was filming. How'd the phone get in there? She throw it in? Okay. That's fantastic. Okay. Let's see what else you guys said here. I think that if they're going to play these games, then they should forfeit that $1 billion. Back to Alex Jones. Could be. Now, I think there's going to be, I think the judge is already hot and heavy on this, that there's some nefarious business going on. I think what's going to happen is the business is going to be auctioned. This bankruptcy is not going to stop. Okay. And are they going to say the creditors are at risk? No, I think there's some nefarious stuff with the trustee, and there's some nefarious things with the opposing sides and creditors and whatnot. But I don't know about the creditors, but I don't know that you're not going to reverse the judgment that came about in this case. Okay, just the way it is. So you're not going to do that. But I think what the plan was that. Some people were going to be buying Infowars and then allowing him to stay in there, where it wasn't going to be that way with the others. She has a surprise Pikachu reaction. She screwed around. Yes, that's a good way to got her. I don't think anyone else will ring in the door in the future. You're right. I don't have necessarily a problem with it. Nick gets boosted. His popularity is not organic. Yeah, something's odd about him. The frogs turned him gay. That's true. All the BS he's been involved with, 0 charges, fed. Yeah, perhaps. She hadn't rung the doorbell yet. Yeah, she had not rung the, good point. I don't think she had rung the doorbell yet. Definitely assaulted her. Well, okay. You bring up a good point. Legally, that's what you guys really are here for, right? No, I hope you're here for the entertainment. There's assault and there's battery. And we walked through this last time. Remember what the difference is. Assault is you have an apprehension of fear or imminent harm. It doesn't mean that there's actually any harm that's coming to you, but you go to fake a punch to someone and they think it's going to happen. There's your assault. Battery is actually landing that punch. Okay, so battery can happen with the apprehension, but it doesn't have to. It has to be like you were physically harmed of some way, or a hit or something happened. It touched in an unwanting way, and so was there battery? Now he didn't physically touch her, but he sprayed her, and that's no different than using any other kind of object to hit at her. So if she got contacted at all with this stuff, there would be battery. Okay, so she would have that. Nick stole the phone from her after he maced her. I don't know if he stole it or if she freaked out and threw the phone in there, or maybe he grabbed it. I don't know. But yeah, there's a charge or something. Nick's a clown, and prefer my violence be directed at men, but I wouldn't be crazy about randos coming on my porch. I wonder if he knew his address was out at the time. Yes, evidently. So that's what's happening. He had been doxxed out there. His address was on Google. It would talked about Cuck's house or something like this. They even renamed it. And he had then somehow was able to get it blurred, but it was still there. So yes, he was well aware that was happening. That looks like a staged event now. I'll just say, I don't know about that. Could be. But what she did call the cops, or he called the cops, and then they said, come on, we're not going to do anything. But what's interesting is the thought left my head. Well, it'll come back to me. Why would you stage this? Yeah, I don't know about that. Don't care if Fuentes gets cooked. Don't care if the prosecutor calls them both dumb. Everybody an a-hole in that incident. Absolutely. Send a signal to real potentials. Yeah, that's really what it is here. He's sending a signal to other people saying, "Hey, don't come around here. This boy has got mace." But ruin your rep in the process, maybe. What if you open your front door and the other person suddenly goes from neutral to menacing? Well, there you go. One, he didn't have to open up his front door. You don't have to. Nothing is required that nothing says you have to open up your front door. Okay, so you don't have to. Now, you open up your front door and someone's freaking out, and I do remember what I was going to say. So I'll pin this here, put this up so I'll remember. What are women thinking? This is the problem, which is, one, you think Nick is so deplorable and he hates women, then why are you as a woman putting yourself in danger by going there? Okay, how dumb are you to do that? I mean, this fuck around and find out stuff at some point does need to happen. Legion of Skanks and even a Tower Gang, they'll do things like, most justified type of thing. Or you watch a video and it's like some dude is, finally punches a woman and you're like, was it justified? At some point, you've got to say, stop putting yourself in positions where you're going to be, society expects the man to refrain. And for the most part, we do. Okay. Now, Nick is not necessarily what you'd call an alpha male. So perhaps he's proven the point right there. But if she thought he was so bad, why would she even go there and put herself in these positions? You see videos of women online doing stuff where they're just goading the person and are slapping their man or something like this. And at some point you're like, okay, shit's going to happen. And then you're going to be like, oh my God, he hit me. Now, I will say I've been in multiple cases where dudes have done stuff in retaliation and we're able to prove that. And the courts just kind of they treat them, it's crazy, but it's true. They'll treat them like equal parts. I mean, when you look at assault and battery, you don't take into account the physical acumens of either side, right? The typical thing would be like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Gray Davis at the time. They were, going for governor, where Arnold's a big guy and this other one's a little guy, or Robert Reich or something like that. the smaller person can still assault and batter the other person because it doesn't have anything to do with the size. My wife keep ordering shit from Amazon. I know how to deal with the drivers now. Right. Women are thinking, I hadn't considered that. Well, come on now. I'm just saying words here. Your reputation with your own crowd is rarely ruined. That's true. You guys are here every week. Exactly true. You guys are. Oh, we're going back. I'm going to take Nick one more time. I want to see this. Sorry, it surprised me. I went up to this one. Okay, so here we go. Yeah. Okay, go back there. She's almost pressing the button. Look at the fingers right there. I don't think she. No, he comes to the door. He's ready.
Oh my
He's
God.
ready.
What,
Now,
what are you doing?
she drops the phone. He takes the phone and goes inside. And then throws it down. And then steps on it. Okay, that's a little shitty. But I can't say if someone was coming to my house that I wouldn't be necessarily doing something similar. I don't know. Let's check in on the other camera. How you doing over there? Okay. I know I have two cameras, but I enjoy them. Okay, so there's that one. There's Nick. Now, Nick Rekieta. Nick Rekieta. He is getting, there's shit going down with Nick Rekieta too. So as you know, we talk about that in fine form every time. I'll just tell you. So here's Alyssa clips, and she's been posting up stuff. Nick was now in a t-shirt. This Keanu chick here, I'm just going to give you the lowdown. So evidently she didn't like Nick. Then she was friends with, let's see if I could do this here. Let's fix this up a little bit. Then she was friends, I guess, with April. There was like some stuff going there. And then April's contacting her. So, and I'll give you this. I'm not going to get into all the drama, but I think this is important for the legal stuff. Nick has two houses. They're right next to each other out in the country. There's acreage. Evidently, April's in the house all by herself, not with Nick and his wife. I don't know if they're broken up or whatever, but evidently she goes back and forth to Nick Rekieta's house when his wife's not there. She's gone and did her arraignment or one of her omnibus hearings from there, or I don't know which one it was. But anyway, she was definitely in his studio. Now I've said this all along, which is it blows my mind. She's in this thing, like as an example, Aaron Immelt, I don't know. He's in a position now that if he were to, Nick made it in one of these comments, like, yeah, I hope he comes and testifies. And it's like, okay. He's going to come and testify to if the state brings him in, or if they think there's too many problems, they're just not going to call him. Are you going to call him as a defense witness? I don't think so. So the state would have to bring him in there. You would cross him, and you are saying, oh, we've got all kinds of stuff. Okay, fine. So to make him not believable, but I don't know. So the point I'm getting at is, though, he's a hostile person. If he could flip on Nick, they may do that. He would probably do it. If he can make a deal in his own revenge porn and flip on Nick, I'm sure he would do it. I would. I'd be like, yeah, that guy not only cucked my wife, he ruined my life. I mean, things are just crazy. Although, there's benefits to all this for Aaron now. He's getting a little more publicity. I didn't know who he was before this. So with that in mind, he could be hostile. He could make a plea deal if they were willing to do that for him to testify and he had something that worthwhile. Now, I say this because why is April even involved here? She has some excuses like this isn't my house. However, her credit card was there with drugs on it. That was found in his place. So, if you want to get out of this, you don't have all the charges. You don't have the kids. You don't have any of this baggage. Why not make a deal with the DA to get out of this? Well, that's why Nick, I think, is maybe keeping her close. So this lady, this Keanu or whatever, she goes in here and she talks about how shitty Nick is treating April. Now, April just seems like a complete dumbass anyway. She's letting Nick control her. By the way, one of the best videos was down here, Meme Copiums, the other day. He does this whole, he compares it to the dentist system from Always Sunny. This Josh guy, this Meme Copium, he made me laugh really good. He made me laugh a lot the other day, okay? He's done a really good job of making me laugh and talking about the drama. So there you go. That's the drama. The legal side is Nick needs to continue to keep this crazy lady with him to try to control her so that she doesn't turn on him. I mean, that's really where I think this legal situation for Nick is at this point, because all she has to do is pretty much go in there and say, yeah, we were doing coke. He had coke. And then Yeah, or you know what? Then it's like I don't know what Nick's defense is anyway, honestly. So even trying to keep her there seems like a bad situation and something he shouldn't be doing. Oh, hang on, I'm supposed to be doing this. It's a bad situation, shouldn't be doing. But there you go. I do like this new Nick situation. He's got this wife beater. His cupboards though are still. Should we just take a look at this? Maybe we'll take a look at. I don't want to play it. And this lady seemed a little crazy off the hook a little bit as well. Okay, there's Nick. Look at those cupboards. I mean, I can't understand that. Even when I was a single man, I couldn't do this. And then when I do have the kids, I'm even more cleanly. I mean, this is, I don't know. There's a lot of shit going on there. Okay. There we go. That's what I was talking about, Nick. So that's my update on Nick. There's not really that much to say other than he's got this side piece, and he called her his girlfriend on something. So you got all kinds of problems. There's also the things that they're talking about, whether he's stealing the Aaron's sign-in info. So a lot of crazy shit is going on there, and we're just gonna wait. I implore you to go watch the drama. Alyssa Clips puts that all up there. Kiwi Farms, Breaking Baldo. Go and enjoy it. I enjoy it too. I just am trying to stay away from that drama because that's, and I get this. There was something, I mean, this chick, let's go back to her here. I don't even know what her name is. Keanu. Okay. I think she's maybe in it for the clicks, and we're all in it for a little bit of that. Keanu Thompson. I don't know. I don't know. Something was a little off about her. I just couldn't place my finger on it. Something was a little strange. But you know, she's getting involved in the drama. Yeah, it's fine. Go watch her shit if you want. Okay, let's should we check in with the chat? What was when it was just drugs, I figured the discipline would be light. But with all the new happenings, you think more likely that he gets suspension or disbarred. No, he's not gonna get disbarred. You gotta well, I'll say this. Could be with the new accusations. And I don't know if she put credibility. She did say he's missing his drug tests. That's a little odd. Now, Meme Copium Josh, he mentioned that, you know, he had a friend that was really big into cycling. And she was always talking about Lance Armstrong. And then he said, you know, and then it comes out Lance, you know, got caught. He got, you know, positive test. He didn't ever have I take that back. Technically, he had a positive test. He never had a positive test, though. In other words, there was a test that was negative at one point, and he was able to get it covered up by the UCI, the cycling governing body at the time. He gave them a bunch of money, and this test went away, and he had a therapeutic use exemption. There's what these called. The point is, he didn't get caught. So, you know, it's not, you can get around drug tests, right? I don't know what specifically Nick is doing, what his tests are, but you don't, you can get around it, and he seems a little odd. So will he get disbarred? Pseudo snark. I don't know if he'll get disbarred. Maybe a suspension of some sort. Trump banned him from Mar-a-Lago. Who's him? Give me an update. I'm a little bit behind on this one. Nick Rekieta? Oh, Fuentes. Yeah, that's right. Nick R is a sad story. Crazy to see what he's turned into. Absolutely. I heard Aaron sampled Nick's DNA. He has never lied. Yeah, that's distributed. All that, by the way, I'll just say this. You know, I come in here, have fun. I'm a little ranky on Tower Gang stuff when I, you know, help produce that and all. But I mean, there's jokes, and then you go on someone's stream like he did with these other guys, and they're asking him all these ridiculous questions, and he's answering them like he's not a cool guy. He literally is one of the nerds trying to be accepted by people right now. Okay, so he acts all tough and big, and then he goes on these streams and he's a bully, and then he goes on others like with Uncivil Law and some of those guys, and then he goes on other streams and with Sean, and he goes on other streams like this guy had this garbage can and whatnot, and he acts like his let's see if I can find it here. Alyssa, does she have it? Anyway, and then he'll tell them everything they want because they're asking questions. It's like The Boys, but you're on a stream and you're telling all kinds of crazy shit that you're doing. And it's like, I'm not impressed. As a matter of fact, you're really sorry. You're that ultra nerd who is wanting so bad to be accepted by the big boys, and these are really gross people that you're trying to be accepted by. So it does work out. Okay, let's go to the Alex Jones stuff. Okay, I'm gonna kind of start from the end and work our way up. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna cut this one. We'll do it this way. I think this is the way we're gonna do it. Okay. Hope you guys can hear this just fine, but here we go.
We are back at the Infowars.
Nope, we got an echo. So I'm gonna have to see why we have an echo. Hang on here. Let's one there. Okay, monitor off. No. Monitor and output. I think that'll be fine. Let's see.
For Studios, I thought it was bought by The Onion.
It's an echo, folks. I'm very disappointed in my monitoring stuff. Okay, well maybe we're not going to play videos. Let's try this video.
To make me kind.
Okay, I've got problems. Let's say monitor off.
Of.
There we go. Okay, I think I got it. Let me know if you hear an echo. If not, we're good to go.
I heard they bought it, or they got it at an auction. Turned out it was a rigged auction. Turned out the judge didn't authorize that auction. Turns out they colluded on the bids beforehand and not told the real people that came to bid. Turns out people are really interested to find out what's going on. So let it sink in, folks, that we're back at Infowars, and the corporate media's got major egg on their face, and America's back. And Trump overrode the fraud, and the American people aren't your slaves. Follow me on X at Real Alex Jones, and in case they shut it down again, at AJN Live on X as well for the Alex Jones Network. God bless, and thank you all for your support.
Okay, I don't. That's the first one we'll play there. So I will play. Try to get a little bit into some of the commentary. We're not going to play her. Let's go to this guy. This guy starts out, I think maybe we'll get a little bit here. Okay, let's try this.
With the private trustees that are set up and that they supervise, fiduciary duties to make sure that they get a maximum return for the creditors, right? And so if what Alex Jones describes is correct, Steve, that there were other bidders, maybe led by Roger Stone, and he's a hero for putting them together to try to rescue Infowars, and if they had the highest bid and that was ignored, that's a serious legal issue that will need to be examined. I was looking at who the current director is of the U.S. trustee program. It's a woman named Tara Twomey. And you better believe that when the Trump administration starts, that she's going to get investigated, that how this bankruptcy of Alex Jones was investigated, how it was dealt with is going to be investigated. This is something that, hopefully the judge will shut this down and say, look, I got to review this, don't do anything precipitous. But if he doesn't, because, he's been working on these proceedings for a long time, and judges eventually get to the point where they want to get things off their docket, what the trustees seem to be doing here to me, and these are people who are part of the Justice Department, right? I don't think that's well known that the U.S. bankruptcy trustee program is part of the Justice Department. The Justice Department's span is truly enormous. That needs to be investigated, and I think that we can probably count on Matt Gaetz as Attorney General to do that kind of deep investigation, Steve. And so they're trying to clearly rush this out and shut Alex Jones down as a kind of demonstration of they're still in charge for the next 67 days or so. And, they could live to regret that. And so I think people should be looking over their shoulder and thinking about whether they really want to be doing this to shut down an important media operation.
He was a prominent, high-powered guy. He just said, you don't know. This is the Justice Department. This is what Alex has been dealing with. So he hears my show. He knows it. He goes, that guy knows what he's talking about. He goes and checks, and he says, this looks really bad. And for a prosecutor, he was saying, woo, you better start getting ready for your prison uniforms.
Okay, it's a little loud. Now, David Moore, I appreciate this here. I'm still working on this, okay, which is you say I desperately need to boost your mic to match your audio. I'm trying to work on that because I go from this scene and then I go to this one or this one, and the mic has been changing. So I don't know why. I'm doing my best, but I appreciate that because get your grade line. Yeah, he's selling all kinds of shit. Super vitality. Okay, so here's another. He had a great synopsis today with Glenn Beck, but I'm not going to play that one. So let's see if I can. Hopefully this will work. I'll just speak into this real quick. This is 10 minutes. We're not going to play all of this, obviously, but let me see here. He gives an update.
So here we are in the Infowars studios on November 14th, 2024. It is 6:19. And I've just been down the road at the Alex Jones Network studios that were built as backups. And this is the facility we've been in for 16 years. Now, I have major breaking news for everyone. The headlines you see everywhere that the Onion bought Infowars today is not true. The judge had an emergency hearing today that we filed for at 8 a.m. this morning. It went on for several hours. He was extremely upset, the federal judge, Chris Lopez, and said this is not a real auction. You don't claim there's a public auction where people can bid up and have them register for it, and then 2 days before change it and say the bids are secret and we don't have to take the highest one. Then he asked the U.S. trustee that ran this, what was the winning bid? He said, well, I can't tell you. Did you hear what I just said? Not only did they not take the highest bid, they won't even say what was paid, but they said, well, it's Alex Jones's judgment. That's like toilet paper. $1.5 billion fake dollars that doesn't exist? You're gonna get $1 billion out of this piece of paper? So you can't pledge, that's federal law in bankruptcy, a debt towards something.
Oh, let me go back here and then I'll explain this. Okay, so it's supposed to be a cash auction. So in other words, you have to come to the table with not necessarily cash, but the money to buy whatever you're going with you in hand, right? Cashier's check, cash, credit that shows that you have, whatever it is, we're going to take it. Evidently, there was a consortium of groups coming together, and some of those were the Sandy Hook families, saying that they would, once they get paid from the Alex Jones $1 billion lawsuit, that then they would make up the difference. So this trustee was like, sounds good to me. Well, it doesn't when it's a cash auction, because you have to be able to have the cash there right now. Otherwise, yeah, it's like promises made, IOUs, and it's not even that. It's not like we got a loan that we're going to be able to secure for this, or I'm going to pledge that it's with my raise. That's, that might even be more realistic than this is saying. We're going to get the money from the Alex Jones judgment, and when he pays us, then we'll pay the rest of this for his network. That's some shady shit. Okay, let's keep going back here.
And especially because doubly, they didn't tell the other bidders that they were going to allow credit to be used to buy it. That's what they're calling it. It's credit in the future, pie in the sky on my future earnings. So they bought my company in a rigged fake auction that didn't even happen with my money that doesn't exist. So the judge says he hasn't set the date yet, next Monday or Tuesday. He said early next week. I take that as Monday or Tuesday, to have an evidentiary hearing on this.
By the way, and I'll cruise back here just to make sure the sound's good. By the way, that is interesting, which is you're filed bankruptcy because you've got this judgment against you basically, and you don't have the money to pay it. Now, I don't know if he's trying to discharge. I don't think he can discharge this debt, this judgment through the bankruptcy, but he's like, basically it's put him into the bankruptcy. So it's almost circular, right? Which is, I'm in bankruptcy because of this judgment, but they're saying, oh, but the judgment is what we're gonna get out of it. So a little odd. Okay, let's keep going.
My lawyers and the real bidders' lawyers, who are very prestigious, said they've never heard of something like this. Walter Sisak, the lawyer for the folks that tried to buy Infowars that were good guys, is recognized as the toughest bankruptcy lawyer in Texas. He's known as the Bulldog. He's a no bullshitter. He said he's never seen anything like this. Well, I told them get ready for that. And they didn't really believe me. And they saw it. So Monday afternoon, 2 days before the auction, they said, forget all your bids that had to be in by November 8th. Forget all that. Forget the contracts you signed, the deposits you put down, the rules you signed. That's out the window. There's a secret bid. You just give us an envelope with your bid, and we'll tell you who the winner is. And by the way, we'll take one that's lower if we want. And the U.S. trustee said he had the authority to do that, just like the last federal trustee that the feds send into these cases if they want, said he could shut this place down in, remember, late May? And then 2 weeks later, the judge had a hearing and fired them, saying you don't have the authority to do that. The judge said to Chris Murray today, where did you think you had authority to do this? You weren't given the authority to do this. So they've closed the building, cut off the satellite uplinks to the radio and TV stations to something they didn't buy. Through bravado, they ordered the IT people to shut down Infowars.com. We've been hijacked. So I told you they tried this in late May. People didn't believe it was so crazy. When they came and said, leave the building with security. I told the security, where's the order?
I believe
Where's
it.
the court order? I guess we're not going to do it. And then 2 weeks later in court, the judge, it all came out. People were like, well, that was true, Alex said. Well, you're damn right it was. Now you see them bragging, they shut us down everywhere. But here I am in this building with the equipment and the rest of it.
Okay, I just want to say a few things, which is Alex Jones is not always right. Everyone's Alex Jones is right. Okay, so I don't know about the underlying lawsuit. I haven't been able to see all the documents in there. Was he, was it right that they put that they had a default for him not complying with discovery demands, propounding discovery? I don't know, honestly. That's what both judges said. So there seems to be, but this does, and then you come into here and it's like, okay, another Alex. This seems to be really, if what he's saying is true. And the reason I tend to believe him is because he's in the studio today. Yesterday was the Onion had bought him. They were announcing it. Now they're a satirical, site, but still. Let's say here, Dwayne said again, auction may not be the right word. I don't know what you're saying, but it definitely, you just hear him talking about it. He said auction, and that's literally what it is. Oh, I don't know. Maybe you need to explain. Maybe you're being sarcastic with me. Maybe that's what it is. RICO for parties involved. Yeah, but is it RICO if it's all government? I mean, it seems like it, and I'm not a fan of RICO statutes in general, but perhaps it is. Okay, I think maybe we'll stop there with that, because what I wanted to play, let's see if I could find this one. Dun, dun, dun. Not there. Not there. Did I delete it? Did I delete it? Did I delete it? I might have. Okay, I have a way of finding it, though. So, it's a little bit of an article, or it's not an article, but what's his name? Max Blumenthal wrote a post, and then here we go. So let's do this. This is a little bit of the thing about the guy that took over the Onion. Hang on. There we go. Okay, so this is the tweet here. Max Blumenthal said the Onion. Let's see if we can do this. It might be a little bit long. Oh, geez. Hang on. Sorry. Okay, maybe now it's too big. So, the Onion was reportedly on the verge of collapse when it was bought earlier this year. I'm going to have to do a different way because you guys are going to hate me for this. Okay, we'll do it that way. Earlier this year by Jeff Lawson, a major Kamala donor and tech billionaire who hawks, quote, AI solutions, unquote. This week, Lawson made headlines when he purchased Alex Jones's Infowars in a fire sale after Sammy Hook parents who obtained an eye-popping, seemingly unprecedented $1.5 billion judgment against Jones for the falsehoods he spread about them. To lead the Onion's parent company, which has subsumed Infowars, Lawson has appointed a CEO with no background in comedy or business. He is Ben Collins, a former disinformation and extremism reporter for NBC News. That's so Orwellian. And one of the most recognizable faces of the censorship industrial complex that sprouted up during the Trump era to hound alt media figures like Jones. Collins has spent a short career pumping out consistent streams of attacks on targets of the national security state and centrist political establishments, while spreading no shortage of misinformation along the way. Now, behind the brand, once edgy satire mag, Collins promises, quote, "We're going to go after every facet of alternative media that is trying to get you addicted to stupid stuff," unquote. His top targets, he says, will be podcasters, TikTok influencers who have some really curious ideas in the world, though Collins doesn't explain what stupid stuff or curious ideas he finds so objectionable. His agenda is fairly clear and deadly serious. And if you question it, you too are one of the conspiracists. Okay, so let's play this clip. He's been talking in here in the underground. So let's let me go back here. All right, I think this will clear us up. Let's play this. How are we going? Okay.
Here we are. We own The Onion owns Infowars. Look, we're gonna go after all of the, like, every facet of alternative media that is trying to get you addicted to stupid stuff. Like there is a whole world of podcasters and TikTok influencers who have some really curious ideas of the world. And I also think that we're learning right now that their followings are just as big, if not bigger, than traditional celebrities. And they've gone unmocked. They got a free pass to this point. And we don't think that that's fair.
Oh, it's not fair. And this is the problem with these losers, which is they don't want to compete in the world of ideas. They just want to shut you down. So I don't know what their real plan is, but that's what that guy is. Illegally administered. Is it an auction if you don't sell to the highest bid? Okay. I got what you're saying. I thought you were being more technical. Like, no, this actually isn't called an auction, Tyler. Yes, what happened wasn't called an auction. I apologize for not getting, we'll give you the applause for you were correct. I was wrong. See, I could take it. I saw something today. What was it? They're talking about, bigger, because this morning I tuned into the local radio stuff that we listened to. They were annoying the crap out of me. They were taking everything so straight with Trump's nominations. Yeah, I don't know if this guy's okay. He doesn't have the gravitas. And I was like, ugh. Then I slipped over to Glenn Beck, and he's doing some things, which is fine. But then he's talking about more Israel stuff. Has Adam Harsany on from the Federalist, and I'm just like, ugh, again. So then I flipped over to, I was looking to, and I found Jesse Kelly, and then he's destroying. And he's like, look, you know what I love about all these nominations? It's not having respect for the institutions that they're coming in for. The HHS, CIA, FBI, and I'm like, okay, this is where I'm at. Anyway, he was talking about hate, how he gets a lot of hate, and he's like, look, the more you hate, the bigger you are, you're gonna get that hate, and that is kind of how you judge this. And I'm like, oh, I don't really get enough hate. So maybe I laid in a little more hate. Is that what I'm really saying? No, I do get some. We will get to some of that as well. Okay, let me play some of these clips because I think this is some good shit here about the election. This is John Oliver. Start with him with that, right? Which first of all, you should be upset about. Well, first of all, if he's just liking your post on Instagram, I was an assistant volleyball coach. Which posts are you talking about? Are you talking, first of all, why is your daughter on Instagram in a bikini that the assistant coach is even following her? There's so many other levels of this, and you should be concerned about that stuff as a parent. Okay, I get it, but you're more worried about him liking that? You think that that's a bigger problem than a guy in their locker room, right? This is the problem. It's the mentality, and it's not even okay. So maybe there aren't a bunch of trans, right? Maybe that's not a big thing you need to worry about. It's the mentality that you think that is somehow something that should just be overlooked, right? We're to the point where it's no longer as it should be, which is a mental health problem. To now, it's like, dude, why are you caring? Why do you worry about this volleyball coach who's liking your posts on Instagram? Okay, come on. This is just one of the dumbest John Oliver who gets into that stuff. This one I want to get to at some point. That one too. There, maybe. So let's go here. Let's play a few clips of some of these other deranged people after the election. This is Scott Jennings with someone here. Let's start this one.
Secretary, an advisor, a confidant, somebody who talks to the president and advises, but there's no managerial experience in his resume. There's nothing that says he is qualified to do this job. This job is in charge of the health of all of us, all these different lanes. If he has views and has insights around food sources, around vaccines, then those should be given in advisory roles.
Why?
Well, because...
Well, what were the qualifications of the previous ones?
Well, I think it's important to always remember that you put yourself... Say that again?
What were the management qualifications? I mean, Xavier Becerra...
I'm not talking about the previous. I'm looking forward.
No, but you're calling into question whether he could actually do this job. And I think it's,
absolutely.
And
I think America is now, and I think
it's important to discuss it because Xavier Becerra was just a lawyer and a politician with no management experience.
So does two negatives...
Sylvia Burwell was a Walmart.
This is so stupid. This guy's calling up the guy on our right here. He's making an issue about this. And then then when you're called out, like, yeah, here's the standards you've had for for people that you have in these offices, which are shit. And now he's like, whoa, what is this? Trump? Whataboutism? Hey, what are you talking about?
Obvious. Donna Shalala was a university person. Look,
RFK Jr. is a nut.
Okay, so that's different than what you just said. You just said he doesn't possess the requisite managerial experience, but then we get to the real issue here, which is you want to insult the man, which is your right to do because you oppose them in the election. But you, Doctor, are raising the issues that he has been raising, and I think they're appropriate questions to raise. I don't know whether he can be confirmed or not. The vaccine stuff at the table is obviously going to be the flashpoint of this hearing. But I'll tell you one thing. This whole issue of the CDC and these public health agencies, look, public trust in the health regime in this country is as low as it's ever been.
But why?
It's because of COVID,
right?
Because of school closures, because of mask mandates, because this country was let me just finish. Because this country was drugged through a bunch of condescending and heavy-handed mandates that all turned out to be garbage, and that's why it's low. And the questions are valid.
And RFK is the answer to all of that.
Yeah, but RFK helped promote the assault on the CDC that lowered the disinformation.
No, the CDC led to its own
more than 1 million deaths, Scott. More than 1 million deaths in the United States, higher than any other industrialized nation per capita. That's the result of failed policies, the demonization of the conspiracy theories.
Whose policies?
All right. Under the Trump.
There you go. And they still don't get it. Let's hate LPR. I'm with you on that one. More hate. Yeah. That guy doesn't get it, right? It is exactly that. Now, the problem with Trump was he went along with some of these things, so you weren't allowed. His campaign couldn't really solidify that in this election, and they should have been able to just really push that whole stuff. So, no, he's exactly right. That the COVID insanity, and this guy's still pushing it, and they don't get it. They don't get it. This is the only and look, am I a fan of RFK Jr. coming in? I've done shows. You can look back in here where I talked about his problems, the climate change stuff, his liking of Chavez down in Venezuela. I mean, he's been off the reservation on a bunch of different things. But I will say, when he came back, there was at least recently, I saw him on shows where he was expressing how he was wrong and where he was wrong and where he wants to go forward. And I'm like, okay, I'll at least play along with this game. There's some things I don't want you near, but I'm also fine with him torching some of these departments that these people think are so sacrosanct in their everything else. Okay, I'm going to play this one here too, because I think this is a fascinating little thing about the former FBI director. And it will be interesting to see how the Trump administration is changing, if at all. And so these are some warning signs of how things were played up in the past. This is with Comey. Take it away.
Imagine 2 FBI agents ending up in the same room. How did that happen?
I sent them. Something I probably wouldn't have done or maybe gotten away with in a more organized investigation, a more organized administration, in the George W. Bush administration, for example, or the Obama administration. In both of those administrations, there was process. And so if the FBI wanted to send agents into the White House itself to interview a senior official, you would work through the White House counsel, and there'd be discussions and approvals, and it would be there. And I thought it's early enough, let's just send a couple guys over.
You look at this White House now, and
okay, and if you remember, Trump wasn't at all, they kind of fooled him, right? He's like, oh, I have some stuff, the Steele dossier. And then he goes in there and he tries to fool him. So that was one aspect that was a little dodgy. Now I'm going to play this, and then we're going to go to something else, because I think this is where I get.
Defeat anti-Semitism and defend our Jewish citizens in America. My first week back in the Oval Office, my administration will inform every college president that if you do not end anti-Semitic propaganda, they will lose their accreditation and federal taxpayer support.
this heading here, on this Trump thing, on the Chiron, it should say Trump addresses free speech on college campuses and how he's going to quash it, because that's really what this is about.
Truth is, you don't have to do much after that. When you do that, it's going to work miracles. Please sit down. We will not subsidize the creation of terrorist sympathizers, and we're not going to do it certainly on American soil. We're not going to do it anywhere. Next, I will inform.
Oh, he's going to shut down the Jews. Oh, the terrorist sympathizers. Okay. That was just a stupid clip. I don't even know what the point of that is. Okay. I want to play this. This is a bit longer. It's Glenn Beck with Jason Buttrill, and they talk about HHS, RFK Jr. coming in, and I thought this was going to be good. So let's go here. I want to make sure I can get this whole part in here. We're all able to view it. Nice. Okay, I think we're getting it there a little bit. Hey, hang on, people. I still got some. No, there we go. Okay. There we go. I think we're gonna be good there. Okay, let's play this here.
He says, okay, so the study you got the scientists to approve, and it was a really tough fight. They really dug deep. So okay, good. We'll approve it. Give us, how much money is it? You remember?
Oh, it's insane, but it's per batch.
Yeah. So it's not just we've proven it. So okay, this for Fruit Loops.
They're talking about the FDA. So the FDA says, hey, if you want to get some fruit, some sort of food, you out there or whatever it is, so it's consumable, you've got to go through them and get approval. And so they're like, hey, we're worried about certain things. Well, the companies are going to do testing, and they're going to come through with those reports and say it's just fine to put on air. I mean, to put into your body and to sell. And then they have to keep getting license agreements, I guess, and paying the FDA. So it's kind of a scheme. That's what they're breaking down.
It's every time that they have to, they make a new batch of Fruit Loops and they're pouring yellow number 5 in, they have to apply for a new license for that batch. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, wait, it's either good or it's not. Why? Let me ask you something. Why do you keep coming to me and giving me all this money? You know what I mean? Maybe someday I can do something for you, you know? Mm-hmm. Maybe, hey, I got a job opening. Maybe one of you guys want to come over here and police things with us. That's the problem. And that's what I hope they get rid of.
Are you looking for the FDA to do more or less in this process?
I'm looking for somebody that is neutral.
Right, but I'm asking specifically the FDA, which I guess in this theory, we're in this concept here, we're calling FDA neutral, which I don't know that we necessarily agree with, but in theory, they're the neutral party here, which is, I think, has all sorts of problems. So I think what you're describing is a funding mechanism, right? FDA is massive. It costs a lot of money, and they're paying for the FDA to continue to go.
Half of the money from the FDA, okay, half of their budget comes from food and pharmaceutical companies.
Right. So, let's say if you stop that, you cut the FDA in half.
Yes.
And that's the direction we're looking for. We want less input from the FDA.
I want less input from the FDA, and I want an end to the revolving door and the obvious corruption that's coming from.
Whoops. There we go. By the way, you may not know the guy on the left. That's Stu Bergier. That's really not his name. His name is Steve, but Glenn called him Stu when he was just an intern, and now he's Stu. He's the producer, executive producer for the Glenn Beck Show, and I like him a lot. He is setting Glenn up here. This is his own boss, and it's kind of fascinating because listen to what he's saying. He's walking them through because he kind of knows where they're going with this, and it's okay. Let's keep playing this. Just keep this in mind.
From money.
So when you say a funding issue, that translated is a crony issue. This is everything that the left used to hate. Everything. Oh, yeah. It's everything. Like I'm a libertarian more than anything else. I guess I'm libertarian light. Mm. So when I first heard about this, I got the person that actually did the bulk of this research was one of the biggest hippies on our team, and you know who I'm talking about. One of the biggest hippies. And I was like,
you know who it is. Mm-hmm. Dope smoking Kev.
Not that one. The other big hippie.
Oh, okay.
But when I was like, food, I don't give a crap. I don't give a, if I want to poison my body, I want to poison my body. But then when it got me was when I saw the cronyism angle. And that's why I don't get libertarians on this. Yep. This is everything they hate and the left hate used to be about big government. They are getting rich off of an alliance with a lot of these companies.
And it appears as though science takes a backseat. They're sitting in the back of the bus.
The experts, and you can apply this to everything that we hate now about.
Knowing the outcome of this clip, I'm just watching Stu here and his befuddlement.
A big government, like climate.
Yeah.
Anything else? The push for blah, 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 blah from the progressive agenda right now, where they say, oh, but the experts are telling us this. Well, the experts are employed by the people pushing their poison.
Okay, so
and it's paid directly to...
If you understand why we have a problem with climate science, just take what you know about climate science, that this is all being done by the people who want...
And by the way, without getting too libertarian on everything here, this is kind of my my jihad on a lot of things, which is we just saw Trump. Now he's going to dictate free speech. A lot of things are going on. Is it the administrator that you're electing and you just hope that he administrates better in this world, or are you trying to actually solve problems? Because if you're actually trying to solve problems, it's not, I understand government efficiency. That's the new Department of Government Efficiency. Okay, fine. But with that government, if you just eliminate a lot of the problems, the departments, now you're talking instead of trying to make them more efficient. So I hope they understand what efficiency really is. So Glenn is here. He's sees the problem. We see the problem. I understand the problem. Is his solution the right one or not? Is it going to cause more problems in the end? That's where I'm.
This to be real, because they want the money to keep coming in. You're not denying the planet is getting, is going to kill us all within, 5 minutes. You're not getting any money if your study comes out and says, no, that's not true. You don't get money. So the scientists sometimes will come back with the results that the people paying for it want.
This would be like if Elon Musk wants to sell his EVs, and he produces this huge report saying that the world is spontaneously going to combust in just 2 years unless you adhere to his research that his scientists did and trust us. It's great.
And by the way, the lithium battery study that I just did, fires don't start with lithium batteries.
Totally,
There's not a problem.
Good. Yeah.
And we're gonna keep going here, but part of the solution is to allow I don't want to spoil Stu's thing, but the FDA, think about the vaccine as an example. They have liability for any injuries, okay? Government protection, you can't sue them if you get injured from a vaccine. So that is a problem, because what does the threat of suit do? It makes you not put out a crappy product, right? I mean, at one point, I'm trying to remember, it was Friedman had talked. He was on what's his name's show? Anyway, back in the 80s, and he was talking about, I don't know if it was a Corvair or one of the cars. They've calculated what a life is worth that they would have to pay out if there's a product liability in a way that goes bad and you die. They're like, okay, this is worth it. So they would pay this out, and then they'd just have a crappy product that still happens. Well, at some point, it doesn't work anymore, right? You're just paying out too much. My law partner is dealing with a company right now. It's a trucking company that hit a client. He's dealing with the lawsuit on that, and they have personal injury, so they're going after the pretty bad, and they're going after the trucking company. Well, the trucking company files bankruptcy, so you're trying to figure out, okay, what's their insurance policy? And they're like, well. Here's what the insurance policy is. It's they pay the trucking company. They have a deductible. Okay, so typically it's like, oh, we're going to pay out of pocket for a certain amount, and then the limits. The limits I think for the insurance were like $6 million or something. Like, okay, that's fairly good. The problem is the deductible is $6 million. So all these, and this is why they're going bankrupt. So all these little car accidents of this trucking company everywhere, unless it's a catastrophic issue, they're paying out of pocket. So they're paying up to $6 million before their insurance will kick in. And that is really bad for our situation, because it's not, so you're trying to do this through bankruptcy. Anyway, so that's just kind of a little idea, which is if you remove the liability in the government from, or the government from this, and you actually have liability, maybe these issues, maybe your red dye 5 is a problem, and the companies need to really make sure they're not giving crap out there, right? But you have the stamp of the federal government. It makes a difference.
Yeah.
So the issue is that you believe that these food companies are proving things that are theoretically not helpful or that are harmful, and then they're producing these studies and they're giving them to the FDA, and the FDA is just approving them. So the
FDA is not. The FDA. I'm sketchy on this one. You might be able to help me out on this. The FDA made the food pyramid that we've all grown up saying this is absolutely right. They designed that through the food companies.
Okay. So
it should be through science and through knowing what is.
So who's doing these studies if the food companies aren't paying for them? Who's paying for them?
The food companies are.
The food companies paying for them. I'm saying in your vision of the future.
I think there could be a tax on these food companies or pharmaceutical companies.
So they would still be paying for them.
They'd still be paying for them, but they're not picking the scientist, and it's not just the scientists at General Foods say.
So you want a larger role for the FDA. Then,
it should be on
they're
the
deciding
FDA.
Who
they're the
scientists
regulator.
are.
They are the regulator. It should be on them to prove it's safe or not.
Aren't you answering your own questions why libertarians don't like it? You're arguing for a larger role for the FDA. That's why they don't like it.
Larger responsibility.
Yeah.
Right. My vision, I'm much more on the side of the FDA has nothing to do with this. Like, I would much rather have the FDA basically shut down and not have any role in this whatsoever. Now, that is
I'm looking at the two guys on the right, Glenn Beck and Buttrill, and I think they're just like brain broke, where they're making this argument and all of a sudden they're like, I can't believe what I'm just arguing.
Old school American view, but it is. I don't like government control of this stuff and government input. But I think that's why the libertarians don't like it, right? Like what they're doing now, if I'm understanding this correctly, is that the companies are basically on their own to come up with science that proves this, and the FDA basically goes along with it
for money,
right? But
and
again,
jobs.
Half of their budget, right? The other alternative to fund that half of the budget is taxpayers. That's the other alternative.
Or taxing the food companies.
Okay, yeah.
And the pharmaceuticals.
Right.
Okay, you want this service.
So you want higher priced food.
Either way, we're paying for it eventually, right? We're paying for it in our food, or we're paying for it in our taxes. Like, so again, I can understand the problems with this, and this, of course, is true, right? Companies constantly produce science that helps themselves. It happens in global warming and everything else. I just think that, like, I'm concerned. Here's my concern. I don't want I'm from a conservative movement that doesn't want the federal government to make me healthy. I'm from a vision of conservatism that doesn't want the federal government to make me anything.
Correct.
This is a line in the sand for me, and I know a lot of people don't care about it, but I am from the conservative movement that yells at Michael Bloomberg for getting rid of large sodas. That's me.
That's me too.
That is 100% me. I've seen Jason too much at Taco Bell to know that I know he's on my side on that part of it.
I don't want the government to tell me what I can eat, what I can't eat. But I would like some science to say, hey, Stu, not good. And
okay, you can have that kind of science, right? You don't. Why does everything have to be a governmental body to do this? This is. I get where you're like, they want to push the idea. There's cronyism. Cronyism needs to be evaporated. I think completely. With that, maybe that's the Doge thing, right? With Elon Musk and all them coming in and wiping out whole departments. Maybe that's what's going to happen with RFK Jr. as well. It would be nice. I would love to see a lot of these people unemployed. It would be perfectly fine with me, okay? Because I think in the end, you're going to have a better system for... there's so many things out there that aren't regulated to the same extent, and you have a nonprofit that starts up, right? There's ones for kosher food. They give a thumbs up for kosher. There's other ones that'll do consumer products for all kinds of things you can go and get, maybe they do their own testing, right? Maybe the companies are still paying them for doing it, but you have multiple ones. I don't know what it is, but I'm just saying when the government gets their little hands, when they start being able to receive money from the companies to do stuff, and the companies are then benefiting from this same kickback, and everything's stamped with this, tri-tier food pyramid type of idea, you're getting a lot of shit pushed down you that might not be something that you would normally be that interested in. I don't know.
Not from Monsanto, and not necessarily from the government that wants to control everything.
Yeah.
There should be a way to get neutral science, but we don't have.
And I'll also say this, which is, this goes back to the whole thing during COVID. You weren't getting this neutral science. You were having the government bodies telling you what to do. right? They were pushing out science, TM, right? Okay, let's keep going.
That now. And honestly,
there's been a lot of neutral science produced about food coloring. A lot of it. Yeah. You know, and you can choose whether to like those studies. There has been some that have some indications of negative aspects. There have been many that have been like, doesn't seem like there's much here. So, but like, that being said, like the government comes in, and if the government approves a study, is that now gospel? Like, I don't think that's what we want. I think like
science is always changing.
Yeah, I mean, it's not.
It's
of course,
evolving.
But our understanding of it is always changing. Science doesn't change. But like, I am concerned because, look, this is a guy, RFK Jr., who has a very strong opinion on a lot of things. And it is not my disagreement with him is that, well, scientific consensus says X, Y, and Z, therefore he's bad. That's not what my belief is at all. He has in his head his own consensus. And he is going to try, I believe, I am concerned about that he is going to apply his mental consensus over a lot of things that I don't necessarily want changed. I want to make the decisions for myself. And as long as we live in a world where what he winds up doing with this role is saying, hey, you can sell raw milk all over the place, I'm not going to be concerned about it at all.
Here's the thing. I learned this 50 years ago, 40 years ago. It's never a problem if you're selling a Volkswagen and the client buys it and you've paid for a Volkswagen and it runs like a Rolls Royce.
No, it's great.
If you buy a Rolls Royce and it runs like a Volkswagen, there's hell to be paid.
Yeah.
My son just bought a Volkswagen just 2 days ago.
Yes. So what he is selling us, his Rolls Royce that he is selling us right now, is we're going to cut regulation. We're going to get out and make things your choice and give you the transparency that you need to make good choices, but we're not going to force anybody to do anything. Okay? That's the Rolls Royce that he's promising. If he starts to run the Volkswagen way, which is more federal regulation, less choice, then there'll be hell to be paid because that's not what you're selling us right now.
I'm selling.
Yeah, I think you agree with that. Yeah, look, he's going to do some things I'm really going to like. I'm sure of it.
I think it's baby steps. Like I would love to get rid of the FDA as well. You know me. I would love to just dismantle 95% of the bureaucracy.
I swear, Buttrell, you came on here and your initial story was how even we did a story and even this hippie wanted more FDA. This should be taken. And now he's like, yeah, I would like it to be eliminated. I'm like, people, please.
Let's take baby steps. Let's at least start with, let's not let them collude with big food, big pharma and all that, make a ton of money off of our expense. I'd like to start there.
I actually think, he has said himself the FDA should be shut down. And he said 90% of it should be shut down immediately. I'm all for that. I don't need a baby step. I'm ready. Okay, let's do that. But, let's just know what we're trying.
Okay, we're done with that one. Okay, so they go on to say one in the interview. It continues on about Elon Musk getting away with patents. He was giving his patents away, and also the subsidies. And I do have a quick. Let's see if I could do this one. I have a quick thing with this one. Why is it not? Oh, there we go. There we go. I think this is this the one? There we go. Okay, I'm sorry, folks. Here we go. Let's try this.
I would say, honestly, I would just can this whole bill. Don't pass it. That's my recommendation.
What about the support though for the charging network? I mean, there are parts of this bill. And no. No, I mean, do we need support for gas stations? We don't. So there's no need for this for support for a charging network. I would delete it. Delete. Okay, all right.
I'm literally saying get rid of all subsidies. But also for oil and gas.
If you think about also how this affects your competitors, does that impact some of your view on this?
I mean, maybe they need it. I don't know. But I think just generally, I'm in favor of deleting subsidies. I mean, when we started Tesla, there were no EV subsidies at all, and gasoline was super cheap. We did not anticipate any subsidies. That came later, and that came the $7,500 tax credit came as a result not of Tesla activity, but of General Motors lobbying for it. I would just say just delete them all.
All right, but there's some other good things in this bill that some would argue. I mean, a lot of money earmarked for R&D. Would you want to put that towards something?
No.
Okay. All right. We're going to move on from the bill because I think.
Ha 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 ha. She's getting worked up over there. Okay, let's get to the chat. We have the stuff going on here. Careful, Donald. First Amendment. Yes, exactly. And by the way, I've drafted it. I'm taking my time, but I think it's almost time. You guys are going to be in on the grift. I don't know if it's going to blow up. This is something I see if I do it right, it could be viral, which is I took the anti-Semitism. It's the International Holocaust Remembrance, their working definition for what anti-Semitism is, and I've changed it. I'm changing words on there. I'm changing like Israel to like BLM or 1776 or 16 whatever it is project. Blacks instead of Jews, and then I'm gonna say this is a breaking, like Dom does. This is a new law that they're trying to pass in California. Rumor has it. I've got people in the legislature, right? And I'm gonna present it out there as this law, and people are gonna freak the fuck out. They're gonna have the Ben Shapiros that are going to be all up in arms about work. I mean, if you could get this viral, right? And then you're going to reveal maybe even community notes. If I keep it as much as true to the original as possible, community notes will say, hey, whoa, this is the anti-Semitism thing. So that is something I'm working on slowly and surely. So here we go. Tower gangs were going to be arrested. Yes, they will. Not a fan of FDA regulation, but not a fan of lack of transparency. Not sure what the fix is. That's where Glenn Beck is stuck. Yeah, you're right. I mean, the company, by the way, maybe this has to do with trade secrets or even their patent stuff, right? I was going to get to Elon Musk. If you Google, and I think it's like 2017 or somewhere around there, he was giving away patents of his own stuff to other companies, his competition. And because he didn't have a problem with it. And, I had an issue and I did a whole comments thread there because Alyssa Clips had featured me and I had denigrated patent law and IP law and saying it's a bunch of bullshit. And people were coming at me and they're like, hey, how would you make money in this? I'm like, well, Elon Musk, he's literally done this and gotten away with it. So this guy thinks like I do. Okay. Smile and be happy says celebrity net worth has Glenn Beck at 200 million. Wow. Yeah, I think he's done well. Look, he had, he had talked the other day about when he worked for Fox News. He said he made $1 million a year, but he was so into he hired additional staff to do research where he was basically not making much money. And then he started The Blaze. And I don't know if it was Peter Thiel or one of these guys, he was trying to get money from him. And he's in there and he's like, hey, Glenn, right now I'm doing this. I'm starting this new company called Coinbase. You should just put $10,000 in Bitcoin. I'm telling you right now, it's 38 cents. Just put it in there. And Glenn didn't do it. And he was talking about that the other day. They calculated it would have been like so many $1 billion now. Goddamn. Pinto was the most reliable car in U.S. history. I don't know about the most reliable car. What's it? The Corvair? Isn't that what? I'm trying to remember the guy's name that ran for. He wrote a book called "Unsafe at Any Speed." The Corvair. Let's see. Let's do this here. Unsafe at Any Speed book. Ralph Nader wrote a book about that, but I don't know about I think the Pinto blew up a few. Glenn seems like he is cherry picking and pulling conspires. I think even conspiracies. There is real facts and laws made from tragedies. Yes. 5 think tanks over food safety are better than this nonsense. Absolutely agree. When it comes to reasons for food regulations, just look at the early history of bread. There is a reason Wonder Bread has 8 essential nutrients. This was the result of regulation. Are you saying that's good or bad? Wow, that is a way to lose all farmers fast. I don't know. 1619. Thank you. Ralph Nader. Oh, you guys are coming in strong. Okay, I think that's where we are going to end the show for today. I was just going to see if I had anything left to do. I wanted to play. There was one. Let's do this. I'm going to go through my bookmarks on Twitter because I had one here from the good old Daily Show where he gets things wrong. I also want to play at some point. Maybe I'll do this one another time. I haven't even listened to it. It's Megyn Kelly and this chick from The Blaze. And here's the thing, Megyn Kelly. Chris Cuomo is faking it because he wants an audience. He's as left as they come. Only now do his brother and Chris come out and try to flirt with the right because they both have careers that are in tatters. Chris Cuomo has about 4 viewers who watch him. Okay, so I totally agree with that, and I think that's the truth. And I still have a problem. It blows me away how Patrick Bet-David, he keeps getting away with this, which is he hired this guy. This was a malpractice in journalism, and you take him on and you're like, we're bringing him in. And then you even set up a debate where Dave Smith thrashes him, and it's embarrassing. And you think it's still okay to have this guy in your network and you're part of your show, and you think it's, and then he goes, I took flack for it. Yeah, you should, because what a complete, I mean, you've got to start wondering what is going on with your hiring practices. How does he get away with it? Okay, not that one, the Daily Show. I wanted to do the Daily Show because it was completely wrong. AOC, she's pregnant. She says, don't say no. No doesn't mean no. Okay. Dan Bilzerian. There we go. Okay. I'm gonna play this one, but I think he gets it wrong still. Let's go here. Okay. Okay, let's play it. Play it, shall we? Daily Show.
But it's a delight to hear about why it happened from so many people who were so wrong about what was going to happen. And everyone has their own pet theory. But there's one theory that a lot of people seem to be coalescing around.
They were too woke, insisting that people use the term Latinx.
Too far to the left on transgender rights.
You have to say they. No, you have to do this.
Stop with the virtue signaling.
Step away from woke. Focus less on who is woke and more on who is broke.
Social justice issues take a back seat when your son is in the basement vaping and playing video games and can't find a job.
I feel like that last guy was really venting more about his son. Everybody else had sort of a broader point, but his was just so specific. You really got to focus on, let's say, a kid in your basement vaping and just jerking off all over the couch, night after night.
Okay, that was fairly funny, but it's not the full quote. Tyson, Paul, or fake? I mean, can they both die in the first round? I'm so not even interested in this. I mean, I wonder. I mean, I expect actually Mike Tyson to win just because I don't care how old he is, he's still Mike Tyson, and he's freaking crazy. You know, he once bit what is it, Holyfield's ear off. He bounced a midget adult on his lap like it was because he thought it was a child. He may or may not have raped his wife at the time, and then went on. There's some crazy shit. He's not a sane person, I would say. Right? He got a tattoo on his face and like a Maori warrior. But Jake Paul's white. So do we really? I mean, remember Tyson beat the fuck out of was it McNeely? Tyson McNeely. You know, I mean, it was a white boy. This might have been Duran, Roberto Duran. Did he beat him too? I mean, Tyson winning possibly. I expect it. I don't care even of his age. Someone was talking about oh yeah, but what are you gonna take? Like a Michael Jordan at 6. Okay, Michael Jordan could still at 60 could probably do some damage. Some of these guys can, but you look at Tyson, he's fit. I mean, he could probably take a punch. So I don't know how it's going to go, but I mean, it's going to be. I mean, Roy's. Oh yeah, they're both totally. If it's real, Paul gets hammered. Yeah, I think you may be correct. Now I want to say real quick, going back to we'll just show the thing here. Daily Show. He said no, and then he talked, and then he showed. This was a short clip, and then he showed. The ads of all these Democrats talking about non-woke stuff. And he's like, see, they weren't even talking about, they were more Republican than Republicans, talking about camo and doing all this. It's like, I think here is where the COVID, all the lying has finally resolved itself, which is people aren't buying it anymore. So you go into the last phases of the election, you say, you're wearing camo. I have a Glock. he said, all Puerto Ricans are garbage. It's like people are like, at this point, yeah, fuck you. I'm not buying anything you're saying now because I've watched you in power for so long. You are way too woke. You are pushing this stuff. We just saw John Oliver talking earlier about how trans really isn't an issue. You should be worried about your assistant volleyball coach. And I have an issue because I was an assistant volleyball coach on my daughter's team from her freshman year through senior year in high school. So I have a problem. Do I go on is there something in the middle of it? No, I'm fine. I don't know why I kept looking like I had something in my teeth. Did I go on their Instagrams? No, I don't do that. So anyway. much to my chagrin, my daughter is on that stuff, but she's an adult now. Okay, we're done with this. I was going to do one thing. Let's do a mailbag segment.
I think Tyler is amazing.
Thanks, Tyler. Thank you, Tyler. You stink, Tyler.
You've got mail.
All right. I don't even know what's going on in here anymore. Okay, so let me go to, because there was one comment here I wanted to read, and then we shall let you all depart for the evening, and I go eat dinner. I haven't had dinner yet. Okay, let's see if I could show this one. Is it a slideshow? There you go. That's fine. This is my creators thing. Just bring this in a bit. And okay, so this person said, I've been through an airport. I just talked about Nick Rekieta. Okay, we're going back to good old Nick Rekieta stuff. I've been through the airport in the luggage, and my luggage tested with a false positive with their swabs. I'm not sure how accurate anything is, but I wouldn't trust that field test or the cops that performed it. There was not a field test. Okay, ion face. It was a hair follicle test. Now, they did field test all the drugs in Nick's house, and they tested positive at the time, and then they went and did lab testing. Remember, one was a brown substance that they didn't really know what it was. It was kratom, I think that's what it ended up being. But they all tested positive in the lab. So we're not talking about your suitcase going through Colombian airports, okay, and getting a swab test. We're talking about a hair follicle test on a girl where they pull the follicle and they test it. Okay, I'm not sure how accurate it is. Okay, now they wouldn't do a follicle test? Question mark. I've heard of police refusing to stomach pump a suspect falsely accused of eating grapes at the grocery store, but do they not want to have more accurate tests to build their case? Are they just using false positive to allow them to search bags and offer other cop stuff? Or do they think Nick's full of shit on this? So I'm sorry, Iron Face, you just don't know all the facts. Maybe start back at a few episodes, maybe in the 170s and watch as I read the warrant application, the affidavit from the warrant, the officer, the omnibus filings and stuff. We'll get to it. I haven't heard that ADD microdose comment, very suspicious. Yeah, someone had said that Nick was going to microdose his kids for ADD, I don't know, or ADHD. I'm not at all concerned about the mess 5 kids can make before their housekeeper visits. I'm sorry, that's not the facts either. But unfortunately, it sounds like you're going to be right about the drugs child abuse. Going to be? Currently, CPS doesn't think the children are at risk, but they could be the consequences of that positive test for the future of the CPS case. Does it mean monthly drug tests for them or something? He's doing drug tests. I don't know what if these kids are fully back in the house, if there's some sort of oversight. I don't think the CPS case is dismissed. What they would do is say, hey, we're going to follow up in 6 months, see what your compliance is, see how your testing is going. Negative tests, we're going to take the kids. I don't know what the situation is, but it's not dismissed, honey. I'm assuming it's a woman. Let's be honest. What did Good Logic say about the kids' drug test being BS? I assume you law tubers are all much more informed about it than I am. I don't know what Good Logic said about it, actually. I don't know that he said it was BS. What I said with Good Logic was when this whole thing came out and the kids were there, I said, and the kids got taken away. And he was all like, yeah, but Nick was good to me. He was my buddy. He helped me with my stream. And I was like, oh, good. Yay. He helped you with your stream. What about these fucking kids? Why don't you say what's on everybody's mind? Why don't you say what's on everybody's mind, which is he fucked around. He was a piece of shit. His kids got taken away. They didn't get taken away for some nefarious, non-nefarious reason or just a rumor. Okay, they got taken away for a reason. This is focus on the real shit here rather than Nick helped me. And I love good logic. I love Joe Neerman. I don't have a problem. I'm just saying at the time, I think it was blinded. And I don't know where he is right now, but you know what? I bet Robert Barnes is in the hospital for vision problems because he's so fucking blind to the reality of the situation. I'm not sure about Minnesota jurisdiction's privacy laws, but federal SCA, okay, and then gives a 2071, unlawful access to stored communication. Probably an identity theft law would apply to this malicious email snooping and sending, fines up to 5 years. Yeah, okay, there you go. Hope I answered those questions just fine. Another one of Nick's cults. I don't know if it was Nick's cult. That person seemed to be back and forth. That person just seemed to, and I appreciate them being on here. We'll even thumbs up it. Not gonna heart it, and I will reply. I will offline reply to this one. And this other one person said, "Debate you're on Brooks, the weirdo from Ayn Rand Institute." No thanks. Okay, thank you guys all for coming in. Just hanging out with you for like an hour and a half. I appreciate it. We watched some stuff. We did some stuff. Someone sent me in the Tower Gang chat that we have a clip here, and I'm just gonna get to it. I'm not gonna read it right now, but let's go. Let's go if I go here. And there we go. Maybe we'll do this. There you go. Okay. Supreme Court won't hear a qualified immunity case where a cop disclosed an abuse report to a woman's abuser. Qualified immunity is the absolute worst. We hate it. We hate it. We hate it. It's not good stuff. It needs to be overturned by the Supreme Court. Maybe they'll take on a case. We will look into some more case stuff, maybe a midweek. My job this week, I resolved a hearing on Monday. Things are looking pretty good. I should be able to get some stuff. Yeah, that was you, Rootless. Thank you. I'm going to get to that one. Maybe I'll go over that one. I suspect that the people who are nose guard, super heavy for Nick are because they are involved in the same activities as Nick. Yeah, I don't know, man. Popcorn. That's disturbing. And by the way, just get your shit together. Let's all of us do that. Let's all work on it this week. What is something good you've done? Let's work on it. I'll come back and report to you. Maybe it's, is it not drinking? I cracked one open. I'm sorry. Cracked one open. Now I'm going to go eat my dinner. I hope you guys all have a good weekend. I love you all. Thanks for joining us here. We met all our numbers tonight. I said 0, and JC didn't show up. JC did not show up, maybe because I didn't put this out, but it's every Friday night, 5:15 Pacific, 8:15 Eastern. Have a good night. Thanks for being here, Mark, Tyron. Take care, guys.
Things are going to start happening to me now.
I think Tyler is amazing.
And I'm a fan of this show. I've watched several episodes.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Tyler. You stink, Tyler.
Never promise crazy a baby.
Oh, I like that. That's a cool idea.
Are either of you homosexuals?
I go both ways. What do you think?
You mean like flaming or?
No, we're not homosexual, but we are willing to learn.
But I do wonder, for others, in other cases, whether libertarianism today is just an excuse for many on the right to act selfishly.
Look at me. And then some fat asses in Washington started having opinions. The Olympic Committee started having opinions. You bitch, I know you. You started writing your opinions.
And it just makes me wonder, you're dead, bitch. You know, why are you doing this to this poor guy?
I don't care. I'm a libertarian. What I'm getting is,
Did you vote for Joe Jorgensen or Trump?
Who?
Joe Jorgensen. That was the perfect answer. Thank you.